Jeff Bro from Two Hacks Garage. Well, if you saw in that last video, I came up with an idea that I still don't know if it's going to work. I installed a pair of circle track carburetors on my front engine dragster. These are specifically designed for methanol, which I am switching this car over to for that cooling factor. Like in the last video I talked about, this car does not have a radiator or anything like that. We tried running on race gas, and it was way, way, way too hot. Sorry for the background noise. Neighbors mowing over there. It's a super beautiful day. I got some work to do. Jimmy's going to be here in a little bit and give me a hand on this. So yeah, the Holley QuickFuel Technology XP500 CFM carburetor is already installed. I got all the linkage hooked up. But if you saw in that last video, not sure if that linkage is going to have to be moved and all that. I got my new fuel fittings in. Still got to install those. And this video here, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up that fuel delivery system and hope to get it fired up. Now, I do have a Holley red pump on that, but that is designed for gasoline. So part of the package I got with these carburetors is the Holley electric fuel pump. It's the black one. It's 140 gallons per hour. You can use gasoline, alcohol, or methanol. This is a must-have if you're going to run methanol carbs. And I also did get a different regulator. This is the billet design, and it's adjustable from 4.5 to 9 PSI. So yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to have to change up fuel lines yet, or any of that linkage or all that fun jazz. But yeah, our goal today is to get the fuel lines on, get it installed, put some methanol in that fuel tank, fire it up, maybe do a little tuning and see how that goes. With that, guys, I'm rambling. Jimmy's on his way. Really need to get to work because we need to fire up this bad boy because we're going drag racing soon. See you in a few minutes. Okay, well, before we actually get started working on getting the rest of the fuel system plumbed up, I do want to show you the products I'm going to use for this. This is a Holley fuel pump. It's the 140 gallon per hour. There's the part number on that. And this is considered the black pump. It's designed for alky and methanol. And I do have the billet adjustable regulator. There's a part number on that. So let's see what this actually comes with. Obviously, it comes with all your neat instructions and all that fun jazz, even a 10,000 horsepower decal. Comes with your mounting hardware, and that's like an anti-vibration thing that goes around the actual fuel pump between the bracket and the pump right here. That's an extra one. It does come with two. So yeah, this is the design that it comes with. It's pretty much the same design as like the red and the blues. This should be a direct replacement, seeing I do have a red pump. You can actually wire these with a relay. However, in my drag racing application, it just goes to an on-off fuse switch. And 3/8 MPT in and out. Pretty nice pump, like I said, designed for methanol and alcohol, which is very important. The one I have there on it now is designed for gasoline. Check out this regulator. Comes with a nice mounting bracket, like they all do. Obviously comes with instructions and more mounting bolts for that, depending on your application. Let's see what this pump or this regulator looks like. Now, this one is the adjustable one, as you can see here, from 4.5 to 9 PSI. And I believe these, I'm going to look at the instructions again, but I believe these come they come calibrated right out of the box. So, but here is the actual regulator. There's the part number on that. You have your input, output, and you got your return. We're not running return, so this will end up getting capped off. And this is how you adjust it here. You would loosen this jam nut and you would adjust this with an Allen key. So yeah, that's what we're working with. Got to start working on that. Like I said, Jimmy's on the way. Once he gets here, we're going to start swapping all this over. But I have fuel to drain and I got to get the old stuff out. With that, we'll see you in a few. All right, so I have the new setup pretty much prepped. I'm trying to use everything existing, mounting existing lines, whatever I can. I'm sure when Jimmy gets here, he might say differently. Don't quite know, but I got all the old stuff out. The black pump is plumbed. This side is going to go to the tank. I probably still have to put one more fitting on it. This side will end up connected to here, and this goes to a actual fuel filter, and then it goes to a distribution block. So that's where I'm at now. I got everything doped up, if you want to call it. I'm going to let that set up. I'm going to grab a quick bite to eat for breakfast, wait for Jimmy to get here, and him and I are going to do some brainstorming, and we're going to start putting all this together. Tell you what, guys, I'm hungry. See you in a few. All right, real quick, guys, as the pipe dope set up over on that fuel pump, I'm going to test fit the fittings on here. So I got an adapter. This was the original fitting, and I got the A end that goes to 3/8 line, and that goes in there. However, if you saw my original tunnel ram setup, the return spring I had for this, which is this one right here, it goes on, there's a bolt back here. I went ahead and removed that bolt. And the problem I'm running into, like I said, there could be an issue. When you put this in here like this, that fuel fitting needs to come down like this. So it's not quite, meshing up very well. Sorry for the camera work there. It's just kind of hard to explain a little bit. So let me just screw that in there, just test fit it, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about here. So that's how the fitting is going to work. I might actually have to run the fuel lines on the other side. Not really quite sure. Don't want to go that route. There's a couple reasons why. But this thing here needs to sit down in there, and as you can see, it's hitting that. And it doesn't go underneath here. It's just this piece here is hitting right there. So what I'm going to do while that pipe dope dries up, I'm actually going to modify this bracket a little bit, or at least try to get some of that out of the way so I can see if that'll fit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on that and go from there. And you know what, guys? Jimmy should be here soon, so we can wrap this up and hopefully fire it up. See you in a few. All right, well, everything is hooked up. Everything's been swapped over. I like the way these fittings worked out. This was the one that came with it, and I added the extension. Got the fuel hoses. I did use the original few hoses on this, which is great. Got the return spring on here. Basically, I had to cut this piece of it out here, build a riser, and it worked. It clears that just barely, but it works, and that's the name of the game. So, yeah, it actually works pretty nice. I like the way this snaps back. See if I can't get it here and film at the same time. So we got that in order, and yeah, looking pretty good. So yeah, there's the carburetors. They're installed. Might have to do a little bit of tweaking on here. I'm going to wait for Jimmy to come here to see what he thinks on that. But I used all the fuel line that was in here, replaced some of it back here, got the pump installed, use that factory, or that, not factory, but that bracket that we already had in place before, put in the new regulator. It's pretty much ready to rock, guys. I'm going to let that stuff set up a little bit longer. And basically the next step is we're going to put some methanol right in there, and it's going to suck it right through here, and it's going to go up through that Y block right there. It's going to feed them carburetors. Hopefully make a whole lot of noise. We'll see you when Jamie gets here. Later. You know what, guys? I almost forgot. Before we add fuel to make some fire, it's probably a good idea that we change over to a different spark plug. This here is an NGK. Let me show you what we got going on here. It's an NGK 2405. There's the part number on it, but the heat range is a 6, and that's what we originally were going to run with when we had before, you know, we had the Hillborn on it and had those failures. But since we're going to run with methanol again, we need to put the correct heat range spark plug in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some fresh plugs in there. These are the NGKs. This is what Jimmy's used for years. I'm an Autolite guy, but I'm going to take his advice on these. So you know what, guys? Before we add fuel and make some fire, I'm going to put these in there. I already gapped them. They're ready to go. You know what, guys? Let's get these installed real quick. See you in a few. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. When I said I was waiting on Jimmy, well, I kind of was. Ended up delaying things just a couple of days, letting some of that, the quote unquote pipe dope on some of those fittings get all cured up. And yesterday I went to some nostalgia drags with my dad. I'll be making some content on that. Had a really good time. It's cool out, obviously wearing a jacket. But yeah, Jimmy came over, and some of the stuff we ended up doing, like I said, I did all this like he had showed me originally, and just kind of followed through with what he had kind of taught me. And I got everything set up. One thing when he came over, like I discussed, was adjusting the throttle bracket, which we did. And then we went to prime the fuel system. We realized it had way too much fuel pressure going to the carbs and started spilling them over. So we had to do on the regulator, I had to put a return line going back to the tank. It's kind of my fault, but I should have had that on there to begin with, but that's all set. We got the fuel pressure set at 6.5 PSI. As you saw, it fired right off. Sounds real crisp. You know what, guys? It sounds mean, actually. Kind of intimidating. So far, I'm going to give this thing a fighting chance. Like I said, circle track carbs on a dragster doesn't work. Well, you know what? So far, it does. It's putting the fuel where it needs to be. We checked the plugs. Plugs look great, but we don't have any runs on it. And that's going to be kind of important. So it is getting towards fall. Jimmy's not getting any younger. I'm not getting any younger. But that being said, I do have a whole lot more racing ahead of me than Jimmy does. Jimmy's been doing this for well over 50 years. And you know what? He was a huge part in building this dragster. So September 19th, 20th, and 21st, Jimmy and I are going to be in Sikeston, Missouri at Skelton Dragstrip. And we're going to be participating at the No Name Nationals. It's kind of a YouTuber event. You should just Google it or go to YouTube and check that out. It's actually a fun event. I've done it a couple of years. A lot of great people, a lot of cool cars. So that's where we're going to go and shake this car down. Jimmy, like I said, he hasn't been in one of these in a while. I never have. But you know what? He was a really big help. So he's going to be the one shaking this car down, making some passes. And I probably will too. But you know what? He's kind of the expert on that. So you're going to be seeing Jimmy here in a couple weeks, hop in this dragster, get all suited up, and make some passes, shake it down, and see what it'll do. Now, mind you guys, one thing is these carburetors are set backwards, so I do have some jet extensions on the way. And seeing I am running methanol, which is a highly corrosive fuel, I have some Klotz fuel pressure or fuel treatment that's also an upper cylinder lubricant. And that'll go in there too, and I'll cycle this to just get in there. You don't want to have methanol sit in stuff. You know, these are designed, it creates kind of a mess and can kind of ruin some stuff. So yeah, that's where we're at. So far, I dig the methanol carburetors on the dragster. It's cool, guys. You know, it's just kind of a harebrained idea, you know, worth a shot, thinking outside the box. But yeah, next time you see this car, it's going to be on a drag strip in Sikeston, Missouri, September 19th, 20th, and 21st. Hopefully all goes well. I'll give my final, if you want to call it, review on all this. Things are looking fun. This is a learning experience for all of us. We're not professionals. You know what? We're just average guys going out there to have a whole lot of fun and trying something new. But I can tell you this much, guys, there's going to be a whole lot more to come with this. Jimmy and I were talking off camera, and you'll probably see an engine change on that. Don't worry. It's still going to be small block Chevy powered, and it's still going to be extremely rowdy. And most likely next spring, there's also going to be a third driver. It's one of the J3s, if you know what I'm talking about. With that, guys, we'll see you in the next one. By the way, there's going to be content coming up on the Nostalgia Drags from Midstate Dragway in Havana, Illinois. Great day for racing. I got a little bit of sun, bald head, you know, reflected it. Yeah, you get the gist. But yeah, with that, guys, whole lot more to come. Jumping jack flash. It's a gas, gas, gas.